Hello there, Ray here, and recently they have added this coral flora is renewable with bone meal. So I went ahead and upgraded our seagrass farm to make an efficient coral farm. My efficient coral farm is very simple, as you can see. It just consists of some water, some building materials, some simple redstone and rails, and collection system. Now you can also see it looks very similar to my seagrass farm because it is. Although this farm it looks very simple, it can produce over 20,000 coral per hour. My seagrass farm is very easy to operate, so the way that you would run it is you just sit in the rail here and make sure you have a tool that has silk touch, and that's the way you would collect the coral. And then you just push forward to start this machine up, face forward, then you can AFK with your mouse button held down. Several ways that you can hold your mouse button down. You can do the F11 trick, or you can go ahead and hold down the button and then unplug your mouse. Or you can just put a weight on your mouse to have it so you hold it down. Now the cool thing about coral, since they're instant break with picks or any other tool, this allows you to be able to destroy them and get the items without doing any damage to your pick. This is similar to like thinking as if a person has a sword and you whack at some grass, it's not going to do any damage to your sword. So with this farm, the only thing you really need to take care of is the bone meal, and that is inside this dispenser right here. And if you want to, you can manually fill it up, or you can come in just like my seagrass farm and put it in a dropper underneath of here and then feed that dropper with some hoppers and it will fill itself up. Now the cool thing is that now this can be infinitely automatic by attaching this to my previous fish farm, which allows you to get bone meal from fish. So this way you can just keep feeding bone meal into it and you can just keep whacking at it and continue on. Now one thing to keep in mind is that since you are breaking blocks, you will take damage over time if you are in hard mode, and this will eventually kill you. So be sure that if you're in hard mode to have a beacon or have a food source. Every time the minecart makes it to one end, it'll go over top of these detector rails, which will go into this redstone, which goes into the dispenser and will dispense out bone meal in this area. Now, when the bone meal is dispensed in this area, it'll be able to bone meal a area around it. The closer there is open area around the dispenser, the more easily it'll be able to put plants there, but it is capable of placing them even on the outside edges, but it is kind of rare. On average, one bone meal will produce about 15 coral as well as seagrass, so keep that in mind when supplying this. Also, a cool thing that they changed about dispensers is that now when they're dispensing onto an area that already has some flora, such as like this coral or tall seagrass, it won't be able to waste any more bone meal from thereafter. So right now you can see the minecart going back and forth, but it's not actually using any bone meal up or putting down any more flora in the area. When the player does break off the coral, they will float up as items, then come over to the side here, where they will come against this pane, and they fall down and fall into these hoppers and get collected into these chests. So you can see all the loot that I collected over our tests. Here you can see the variations that you get. You're going to get the tube coral, horned, fire, as well as the bubble, and even the brain. So there's 5 different types, and here's another chest of the rest of the loot. Now, if you want to get up to 27,000 items per hour, you can do this actually in survival. This is by using some shears that also have silk touch on them. Now, these are now a discontinued item. You would have to obtain these in 1.8. And we got a whole bunch of these on Protect server because we saved them up. So they have to have silk touch. This allows you to be able to not only break the coral and get the coral plants, but you can also break the seagrass and get seagrass as well. Unlike the other items, silk touch shears will get damage even on the coral and also on the seagrass. So one thing to keep in mind with using the silk touch shears is that it's best to have mending as well as unbreaking on them, because if you would break these shears, you would not be able to get more of them since, like I said, they're a discontinued item in Minecraft, but they are very useful for these farms. So you would want to make sure to have an XP farm that is supplying the player at the same time. I would probably just use a pigment portal farm to supply the XPs, since you're going to need a lot of XPs because of all the breaking you're going to do on these. Now, as you also see that you need to build this up inside of a warm ocean, otherwise when you bone meal, you're just going to get seagrass instead of the chance of getting the coral. Although I did put coral blocks down here in the floor, that was just for aesthetics. You can have any type of block that you have the bone meal placed onto. Now currently there isn't too much you can do with this coral, although it's very pretty to look at since there's 5 different variations with different colors, so it's really nice for aesthetics. Also the grass is nice for aesthetics. You can also use it to breed up turtles. I really like this farm. It's really nice and simple, and if you guys want to build this up in your very own world, I will provide the world download in the description. A high efficient coral farm for all your aesthetic needs. I'd like to thank you for watching, and if you found this interesting, show me a like and share this with others. If you'd like to see more cool contraptions like this for 1.13 and beyond, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell button to get notifications, and if you guys have any questions, be sure to ask me down in the comments. Bye bye!